A human engineer was left to die on an alien station. Instead, he reconstructed it. Marcus Chun floated in the depressurizing cargo bay of the Zephyrian research station, watching his supposed alien allies seal the airlock behind them. The betrayal stung less than the mathematics. He had maybe 6 hours of emergency oxygen before the failing life support systems claimed him entirely. The Zephyrians had invited humanity to this joint venture with promises of technological exchange. What they hadn't mentioned was their intention to strand the human engineer once they'd extracted every useful piece of information from his mind. They assumed, like most galactic species, that without their advanced quantum processors and bioneural networks, Marcus would simply wait to die. They had gravely underestimated human stubbornness. Marcus activated his suit's magnetic boots and began moving through the station's darkened corridors. Emergency lighting flickered sporadically, casting eerie shadows on walls covered in the flowing, organic architecture typical of Zephyrian design. The aliens built everything to interface directly with their neural implants, smooth, seamless surfaces with no manual controls that a primitive human could operate. Or so they thought. In the engineering section, Marcus found what he was looking for, a maintenance panel the Zephyrians had left open in their haste to evacuate. The exposed biocircuitry pulsed weakly, like a dying organism. Where the aliens saw elegant biological integration, Marcus saw a puzzle waiting to be solved. He pulled out his multi-tool and began tracing the pathways. Zephyrian technology relied on living circuits that responded to bioelectric fields, but at its core, it was still just electrical engineering with a biological interface. Every system needed power regulation, data transmission, and logical switching. The same principles he'd learned fixing combustion engines in his grandfather's garage. Working by the light of his helmet lamp, Marcus began his reconstruction. He couldn't interface with the bioneural networks directly, but he could bypass them. A stripped wire here, a bridge connection there, slowly rerouting the station's functions through pathways the Zephyrians never intended to use. The first breakthrough came after 3 hours when the main lighting flickered back to life. Marcus allowed himself a grim smile as he heard the atmospheric processors cough back to consciousness. The Zephyrians had built redundancy into their systems. They just never imagined someone would need to access it manually. By hour 5, he had basic life support restored. By hour 7, he'd figured out how to manually operate the communication array. And by the end of the first day, Marcus had done something the Zephyrians considered impossible. He'd taken control of their station without a single neural implant. The rescue ship arrived 3 days later to find Marcus not only alive, but having completely restructured the station's operating system. Where once sleek biointerfaces had required neural connection, now mechanical switches and displays allowed manual control. He'd essentially performed surgery on a living building and taught it to speak a new language. The Zephyrian delegation that arrived with the rescue ship stared in bewilderment at their transformed station. Their perfect biological architecture now bristled with human modifications. Crude-looking but undeniably functional additions that somehow improved the original design's efficiency by 20%. Ow! Was all their lead engineer could manage to communicate through the translation device. Marcus wiped grease from his hands with a satisfied grin. "You build things to be smart," he said, gesturing at the hybrid human-alien technology surrounding them. "We build things to be fixed." Turns out, when you combine both approaches, you get something better than either species managed alone. The Zephyrians exchanged glances with their complex facial expressions. They tried to dispose of the human, thinking he was the weakest link in their technological chain. Instead, they'd learned that humans didn't just adapt to alien technology, they improved it. Marcus Chun had done more than survive their betrayal. He'd accidentally started the galaxy's first truly cooperative engineering revolution, one salvaged wire at a time.